Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shereen Bhan. Straight to the market action. After a weak start, equities did see a sharp recovery in late trade. The Sensex recovering 350 points from the day's low to close above 38,900. The Nifty gained over 0.5% to end the day near 11,700. Bank stocks, stars of today's trade, with the Nifty Bank Index up by about 1% or so. So coming off their intraday lows, that was the market action tonight. But the much-awaited first phase of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections is here. After months of intense campaigning by political parties, it is over to voters now. On the 11th of April, electorate across 91 constituencies in 20 states and union territories will decide the fate of 1,279 candidates. Andhra Pradesh will be the biggest battleground in this phase of the general elections, with 25 seats at stake. The state will be followed by its neighbour Telangana, where voting will take place across 17 constituencies. In Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, voters will exercise their franchise across 8 and 7 seats respectively. Let me quickly take you through a snapshot of those who are in the fray for Phase 1. 93% of the candidates are men only and 7% are women. 53% of the candidates are between the 41 to 60-year age bracket, and 49% have an educational qualification of a graduate or above. On the wealth front, the largest chunk of 33% comes from the below 10 lakh rupee bracket. So that's a background of the candidates in the fray for Phase 1. Coming up on India Business Hour, we bring you a special discussion on the key battles of the first phase of the Lok Sabha polls with the Bureau Chief of News 18 Bihar, Prabhakar Kumar, political editor of CNN News 18, Maria Shakil, election analyst Arun Giri, and columnist for CNBC-TV18.com, V. Krishna Anand. Well, Prime Minister Modi was campaigning in Latur in Maharashtra today, and he has urged first-time voters to dedicate their votes to the CRPF jawans who lost their lives in the Pulwama terror attack and the Balakot airstrike team. Remember, the Election Commission had directed parties to keep defence forces out of the election campaign. The CPM has written to the Election Commission accusing the Prime Minister of violating the Model Code of Conduct. Sources say the poll panel has sought a report from Maharashtra's Chief Electoral Officer on the Prime Minister's statement.
मैं जरा कहना चाहता हूं मेरे फर्स्ट टाइम वोटरों को, क्या आपका पहला वोट पाकिस्तान के बालाकोट में एयर स्ट्राइक करने वाले वीर जवानों के नाम समर्पित हो सकता है क्या? मैं मेरे फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर से कहना चाहता हूं कि आपका पहला वोट पुलवामा में जो वीर शहीद हुए, उन वीर शहीदों के नाम आपका वोट समर्पित हो सकता है क्या?
Well, that's Prime Minister Modi. The Election Commission looking at whether this is a violation of the Model Code of Conduct. The Prime Minister has also launched a scathing attack against MP's Chief Minister Kamal Nath, saying that Bhrasht Nath can say anything, but it doesn't matter. The comments come at a time when the opposition is crying foul over income tax raids on the associates of various opposition parties, specifically the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. In an exclusive interaction with Network 18's editor-in-chief Rahul Joshi, the Prime Minister has accused the UPA of preventing action in corruption cases and said that the BJP has cracked the whip on such scams. Take a look.
करप्शन पर उंगली मैंने नहीं उठाई है। करप्शन हमारा मुद्दा है। अब जैसे कल भोपाल में हुआ, भ्रष्टनाथ कुछ भी बोल दें, इससे बात बनती नहीं है। क्या भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ एक्शन लेना चाहिए नहीं चाहिए? आप मुझे बताइए, नेशनल हेराल्ड का केस ये क्या हमारे समय हुआ था? लालू यादव का केस क्या हमारे समय हुआ था? हमने जो प्रक्रियाएं ठंडे बस्ते में डाली गई थी, हम मानते हैं जो चीजें हैं उसको कानूनी तौर पे आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। अब उसको जमानत पे आना पड़ा तो गुनहगार को जमानत पे आना पड़ता है। मैं कौन होता हूं उनको कहने वाला? उन्होंने गुनाह किया है, इसलिए जमानत पे घूम रहे हैं, माँ बेटा दोनों।
Well, the Prime Minister defending the income tax raids conducted by the CBDT. But staying with that story, the Election Commission today has pulled up the Revenue Department as well as the CBDT for not keeping the Election Commission in the loop while carrying out income tax raids. Remember, since the Model Code of Conduct came into force on the 10th of last month, the Income Tax Department has carried out several raids across states as part of its drive against the use of unaccounted money in elections. Timsy Jaipuria joins us now. Timsy, the CBDT chief as well as the Revenue Secretary being called called by the Election Commission to explain why the Election Commission has not been kept in the know as per its advisory on these income tax raids. What's the latest?
Well, that's right. What we understand from sources is that the Election Commission today raised red flags on the ongoing raids by CBDT in a meeting where Election Commission had called Revenue Secretary and CBDT Chief. Election Commission did raise concerns and rather also issued a verbal warning to CBDT and to Revenue Department that they should keep Election Commission in the loop when they conduct such raids. Also, Election Commission very clearly told CBDT and Revenue Department that both the Revenue Secretary and CBDT Chief should adhere to the advisory that was issued by the Election Commission to keep Election Commission informed when any such action is taken against any political party or affiliates. Also, CBDT, however, in its defense, did say that the raids were not in connection with any political agenda. It was only after a certain time in the raid when they could establish a money trail which was leading to a political party and to its affiliates is when they kept Election Commission informed. But yes, very clearly Election Commission is not happy with the move of Revenue Department and CBDT, and Election Commission was today assured by Revenue Secretary and CBDT Chief that in any such action further going, also on the ongoing raids, everything will be kept informed to the Election Commission. Also, in other cases where they find any such linkage, only then once they have enough proof, they will keep Election Commission informed. But yes, as of today, there's a verbal warning that has been issued to the CBDT and to Revenue Department saying that they did not adhere to the EC warning. So let's see what happens finally when the raid ends and what happens in future when, if at all, such raids continue during the Model Code of Conduct. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Timsy. So the Election Commission asking the CBDT and the Revenue Department to keep the Commission in the know while conducting income tax raids against opposition parties. Now, 66 former bureaucrats have shot off a strongly worded letter to President Ramnath Kovind complaining that the Election Commission is suffering from a crisis of credibility. The former bureaucrats, while clarifying that they did not owe an allegiance to any political party, highlighted that there has been a blatant disregard of the Model Code of Conduct and that there has been the inability on the part of the Election Commission to come down with a heavy hand. Speaking to me a short while ago, the former High Commissioner to Bangladesh and the former Ambassador to Nepal, Deb Mukherjee, who's also one of the signatories to the letter to the President, said that it's important for the Election Commission to be seen as being above any controversy and to be acting proactively. The former Chief Election Commissioner, S.Y. Qureshi, said that the poll panel must come down heavily on any violation of the Model Code of Conduct.
Firstly, let me say that we are about to have the most contested, the most bitterly contested elections in India. And I think it is extremely important at this time for the Election Commission, the Chief Election Commissioner, for them to be above any controversy or doubt. Their actions have to be transparent and in keeping with all the provisions, the codes of conduct that are available. It is imperative for the Election Commission, for the Chief Election Commissioner, to assert themselves so that their advice is heeded by others.
The model code is a creation of the political party themselves. Courts have held that it has to be enforced strictly. And I would like to say that in election, perceptions are extremely important. Now, Election Commission, like any other institution, not only should be fair, should be perceived to be fair. And it is a sad situation that so many senior civil servants thought that the Election Commission is not being neutral. I think Election Commission itself will be very concerned about it, and I'm sure they will take some steps to restore the balance.
The Election Commission must be proactive. That's the word in from the former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi. 66 former bureaucrats writing to the President about the Election Commission's conduct. Now, in the corporate space, no takers so far for the lender's stake in Jet Airways. On day one, the SBI-led consortium of banks has invited bids for Jet Airways. Lenders are planning to sell up to 75% stake in the debt-ridden airline. 10th of April is the last day to submit the expressions of interest. Ritu joins us now with more. So, Ritu, no takers on day one, but there's another day to go.
While there have been no takers for Jet Airways so far, banks do remain hopeful that EOIs will be submitted before the end of the deadline tomorrow evening. And as we have been reporting, several private equity players as well as some strategic players could potentially look at bidding for the airline. Now, we do understand that banks have reached out to Air France, Delta Airlines already, and even Qatar Airways is said to have shown an interest in acquiring stake in the airline. Among private equity players, the likes of TPG, Indigo Partners, KKR, and even NIIF are seen as potential bidders. Now, Jet's partner Etihad is also in talks with the lenders to potentially acquire up to 49% stake in the airline. Do remember, lenders are looking to sell anywhere between 31 to 75% stake in the airline. But if the bid process is not successful, they may be forced to look at other options like the NCLT to revive the airline.
All right, Ritu, thanks very much. Staying with Jet, the airline's pilots have sent a legal notice to the company's CEO on the non-payment of salaries. Jet Airways pilots, through the notice, have demanded that the airline repays pending salaries by the 14th of April. Remember, as of today, salaries of the past 3 months have not been paid to the pilots. The pilots have also demanded that salaries be paid on time from April onwards. The notice clearly says that in case the company fails to do so, then the union, the National Aviators Guild, will resort to all constitutional and legal remedies available to it. Well, the Supreme Court will pronounce a verdict on the Rafale review case tomorrow. The Apex Court is expected to decide only on whether classified documents sourced from the Defence Ministry by the media without authorization could be used as evidence. Ashmit joins us now with more. Ashmit, a heads up on what we can expect on the Rafale verdict tomorrow.
Right, so just a couple of days ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, we find that the Apex Court is giving its judgment in a critical issue. That's the Rafale case on which the Apex Court will be pronouncing its judgment. To begin with, first and foremost, let's clarify that this is not a judgment on the review application itself, on the application that had sort of review of the Rafale judgment itself. This is not a judgment on that. This is, however, a judgment on the critical issue, on the issue of whether or not stolen documents, stolen or unauthorized photocopies that had been made of the MOD files, can that be submitted and can that be considered by the Apex Court? Now, that's the question before the Apex Court as of right now. Now, let's keep in mind that these documents are quite interesting. When they had emerged through various media outlets, various questions, interesting questions had been raised as to how was the PMO conducting parallel negotiations, questions such as how there was dissent within the MOD, within the Ministry of Defence, as to why issues of sovereign guarantee had been waived off as a part of this intergovernment agreement. So these issues had come to light, and these documents, in fact, had been cited as a part of these review applications for pointing out to the Apex Court that new facts have emerged which need to be considered by the Supreme Court. Now, the government had stepped in, had objected at this stage. The government had clarified that these are sensitive documents, that these are privileged documents, that they are protected under the Official Secrets Act, that they directly affect the national security and sovereignty of our country. And on that ground alone, not only should this petition be dismissed, but rather strong action should be taken against the petitioners themselves for submitting these documents before the Apex Court. The petitioners on their part said that even if there has been some amount of mischief in bringing out of these documents, the broader concerns that have been raised with respect to the Rafale deal need to be respected, and the Apex Court does need to take into account these documents. So that's the question that the Apex Court will be giving clarity on. So big day tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. is when the judgment is expected.
All right, Ashmit, many thanks. We will be watching out for that. BJP MLA Bhima Mandavi and 4 security personnel have been killed in an alleged Naxal attack in Chhattisgarh's Dantewada. The MLA's convoy was attacked 450 kilometers away from the state's capital, Raipur. News 18's Prakash Chandra Hota joins us now with the details. Prakash, what is the update?
Yeah, there were five people were traveling in a bulletproof vehicle that was meant for one Jud's category lawmakers. He's a lone BJP MLA from entire Bastar region. Bastar has 12 seats, and this time out of 12, 11 owned by the Congress, and on the lone seat, Dantewada owned by Bhima Mandavi. He's the second time MLA of the Bastar region, and again, he defeated Mahendra Karma 10 years back. in the election. And this time when he was going inside for campaigning, his vehicle was triggered in a landmine blast, and the explosive was so powerful that his bulletproof vehicle was blown into pieces, and the three personal security officers, one police driver, and Bhima Mandavi, the lone BJP MLA from that area, himself were killed. And immediately the BJP had also expressed its concern over the security measures taken up by the Congress government, and allegedly they complained to the election commission also that the adequate security measures have not been taken, and the leader of opposition has also stated the same thing. However, just recently, 10 minutes back, the DM Awasthi had conducted a press conference where he said they have cautioned Bhima Mandavi not to proceed further by the local police station in charge. However, Bhima Mandavi didn't listen to the police caution and proceeded inside with his three vehicles. There was no road opening party. There was no adequate security measures. And when he was traveling inside, there was a powerful blast targeting the vehicle in which Bhima Mandavi himself was traveling, and the Maoists had special intelligence input, because of which they could able to target Bhima Mandavi's vehicle. And the other two vehicles, that was the tail vehicle and the pilot vehicle, were not touched by the Maoists. And immediately after that, they opened indiscriminate firing, in which Bhima Mandavi, his driver, and three of the security personnel were killed. It is definitely after this Jhiram incident in which top Congress leadership was massacred. This is perhaps the first incident after Chhattisgarh was created. This is the second political big incident. But however, I just wanted to remind the audience that just before Chhattisgarh was created in 1998, in Balaghat, this is undivided in Madhya Pradesh, Balaghat, the then Transport Minister Lakhiram Kavre was killed by the Maoists. So, not for the first time, Maoists have targeted any people's representative or MLA or minister. They have done previously also, and today the police commissioner had clearly stated that everybody should take extra caution. They shouldn't venture into inside. Currently, the Chief Electoral Officer is also taking press conference, and I will request my cameraman Rajendra to take you to the press conference. He is briefing there.
All right, Prakash Chandra Hota, we will let you go for that briefing there, but that's our colleague there reporting from Chhattisgarh, where there has been an Naxal attack, an alleged Naxal attack. And as Prakash Chandra Hota was pointing out, this is not the first time that we've seen a Naxal attack. In fact, the Congress leadership in the state of Chhattisgarh was massacred in a previous attack as well. Another unfortunate incident there in the state. Prime Minister Modi feels the Bharatiya Janata Party will form the next government at the centre and will better its tally in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls. The Prime Minister spoke exclusively to Network 18's editor-in-chief Rahul Joshi a day after the BJP released its poll manifesto. He's upbeat about his allies in the NDA increasing their seat share. Take a look at that exclusive conversation.
मेरा सीधा सवाल इस चुनाव को लेकर, आप कितनी सीट बीजेपी और एनडीए को देते हैं 2019 में?
एक तो एक भी सीट मैं नहीं देता हूं, देश की जनता देती है।
नहीं, आपका
और 125 करोड़ देशवासियों ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को विजयी बनाने का मन बना लिया है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी 2014 में जो सीटें मिली थी, इससे कई ज्यादा सीटों के साथ सरकार बनाएगी। हमारे जो एनडीए के साथी हैं, वे भी पहले से अपनी ताकत बढ़ाएंगे और कुल मिलाकर के एनडीए की ताकत आज जो है उससे भी ज्यादा बढ़ेगी। और जिस आत्मविश्वास के साथ, जिस समर्पण भाव के साथ हमने देश की सेवा का काम किया है, आने वाले 5 साल उतने ही कमिटमेंट के साथ, उतने ही समर्पण के भाव के साथ इस काम को हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
आपने कहा कि ज़्यादा सीट आएंगी पिछली बार से, तो अगर आप हिंदी हार्टलैंड में देखें कुछ स्टेट्स को, तो आप यहाँ पे अपनी टैली इससे ज़्यादा कैसे अच्छी करेंगे? उत्तर प्रदेश में आपके पास 73 सीटें, कहीं 26 में 26, कहीं 27 में 25, कहीं 25 में 25। तो इस तरीके से देखा जाए तो कुछ स्टेट्स में 178 में से आपको 168 सीटें मिली थी। तो ये इसको कैसे संभव होगा, इसको इससे ज़्यादा अच्छा करना?
अगर इसी आंकड़ों से चलते तो त्रिपुरा के चुनाव परिणाम को कैसे देखेंगे, जहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक भी एमएलए जीतता नहीं था। आज त्रिपुरा के अंदर 3/4 मेजोरिटी के साथ हम सरकार चलाते हैं। अगर यही समीकरणों को देखते तो हम कभी आगे ही नहीं बढ़ते। हम 84 में 2 सीट पर थे और आज 2014 आते आते हिंदुस्तान में पहली बिन कांग्रेसी पूर्ण बहुमत वाली सरकार बन गई। तो मैं समझता हूं कि जो एरिथमेटिक है वो राजनीति और एरिथमेटिक का उस प्रकार का मेल नहीं होता है।
Well, we will bring you that entire interview with the Prime Minister at 10 p.m. tonight. But let's revisit the top story of the day. The end of campaign for the first phase of the Lok Sabha polls. I caught up with some of my colleagues and experts who've travelled extensively across the country to discuss which way the wind is blowing. I'm joined by the Bureau Chief of News 18 Bihar, Prabhakar Kumar, political editor of CNN News 18, Maria Shakil, election analyst Arun Giri, and columnist of CNBC-TV18.com, V. Krishna Anant, and of course CNBC-TV18's own Parikshit Luthra. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here on the program. The reason why we've put together this panel is because they've spent some time out in some of these states getting a ground check of what the mood is like, where the local issues are going to dominate, what will be the key national elections that will continue to drive and weigh on the minds of the voters. What does it mean to have a united opposition versus a divided opposition, which was the case in 2014? What could be the deciding factor when it comes to the swing votes, especially in the key states of Andhra Pradesh? All of that and more is what we are going to discuss. Let's start with the crucial state of Uttar Pradesh. And let me come to Parikshit Luthra for a quick ground check. Parikshit Luthra, you've been travelling through the state of Uttar Pradesh. This is going to be a big one, at least as far as the BJP and the Gathbandhan is concerned. Let's just bring up to speed our viewers on the picture in 2014. In 2014, the BJP won 73 seats, a 43% vote share. The Samajwadi Party, 5 seats with a 22% vote share. The BSP, nil, but a 20% vote share. And the Congress got 2 seats with an 8% vote share. What's driving the narrative on the ground, Parikshit Luthra, in UP?
Ganna or Gai, these are key issues that farmers are talking about in these 8 seats of western Uttar Pradesh. Farmers, sugarcane farmers not getting their dues. This is an issue that we've seen in several districts in western UP, be it Baghpat, be it Muzaffarnagar, be it Bijnor, be it Meerut. Farmers are talking about this a lot. Then the issue of cattle grazing. Farmers are saying that they understand the point about Gau Raksha, but then what about stray cattle grazing in their fields, which is destroying their crop? And they hope that the next government would really tackle this. At the same time, we questioned several voters, including farmers, about whether they're going to be voting for their local candidate, local issues. Many said that local issues are important, but Lok Sabha elections are also a personality contest, and that's why they would like to choose a leader. More than that, there were issues related to GST as well. We visited Saharanpur, which is a crucial battleground, and people involved in handicrafts is saying that there is an urgent need to rationalize GST on wood carvings from 12 to 5%. So traders also talking about simplifying the GST implementation in the days to come, how to file your returns over the next few months. But clearly this is a major battleground. BJP won all 8 seats last time around. This time you have the Mahagathbandhan as well. In Saharanpur, we saw Priyanka Gandhi campaigning today, Akhilesh, Ajit Singh, Jayant Chaudhary, also Mayawati campaigned in Saharanpur earlier. The Prime Minister campaigned there as well. Rahul Gandhi did not campaign in any of these seats. We saw Mayawati and Akhilesh also campaigning strategically. They went to seats where they were stronger. They campaigned there individually. So all political parties know that these 8 seats are very, very crucial. The contest is going to be a tight one. And whoever does well in these 8 seats will have an upper hand in the days to come.
Absolutely. Crucial election, Ganna and Gai. Maria Shakil, let me come to you because you've also travelled through Western UP. 8 seats on contest here in phase 1, and this will really be a litmus test as far as the SP-BSP alliance is concerned. Combined vote share of almost 42% between the Samajwadi Party and the BSP. is there cause for concern for the BJP? They're going into this on security, on Rashtravad. They do not believe that this is a multi-election issue. They believe that this is going to be a popularity contest, that Mr. Modi will win hands down. What's your sense?
The arithmetic coming together of SP, BSP and RLD, which looks really formidable just by going with basic calculation of combining their vote share, the one that they polled in 2014 alone. And that was at the time of the Modi wave. So, you know, there is a distinction between what we saw in 2014 and now. So let's make that distinction. But having said that, Shereen, I was in Baghpat, I was in Meerut. The one sense that one does get is that the reason why BJP is pushing that nation first, nationalism, national security, Prime Minister, this very strong leader, again and again, is because they are looking for that overarching theme that actually made them sail through Uttar Pradesh or sweep Uttar Pradesh in 2014. That theme is missing. This is a lackluster election in which local issues are important.
Arun Giri, a quick take from you on UP before we head to the other states.
Shereen, I think Maria completely nailed it. I think if there is one overriding factor which will decide the 2019 elections, it is national versus local. Are voters going to vote based on national issues, or are voters going to vote back on caste, back on community? Read as many ground reports as you can, even from Maharashtra. Same like what Maria is talking about UP. Same, is in Maharashtra. That voters are talking now about, once again, about the agrarian crisis, about caste, about community, about the local candidate. If these factors dominate a voter's thinking when he goes to the polling booth, then I think this might be a different election than 2014, which was definitely a wave election, not just a pro-Modi wave election, but an anti-Congress wave election. Just one quick point about UP. I think it's going to be a test of arithmetic. I said it, on one of your shows a week ago, that Western UP will be the classic test of arithmetic of SP, BSP, RLD. If it does not work in Western UP, you wonder where it will work. It'll be good to see whether the Mayawati, Akhilesh Yadav,
Shereen, if we go with the same arithmetic idea, then the Mahagathbandhan has a disadvantage in Bihar. So the arithmetic is not in favor of Mahagathbandhan in Bihar, which means if Prabhakar is there on ground, it would be appearing to be advantage NDA in Bihar.
Okay, let's get Prabhakar in. We were about to go to Andhra Pradesh, but since Bihar has come up, let me bring Prabhakar Kumar into the conversation. Prabhakar, the arithmetic may work in the Gathbandhan's favor in UP, but may not necessarily work in its favor in Bihar. What's the sense that you're getting on ground?
Yeah, very rightly said. And if you talk about the first phase of election, that is the 4 Lok Sabha constituencies, that is of Gaya, Nawada, Jamui and Aurangabad. This, you have to see the background of it. This is basically a red corridor. This is a Naxal-infested belt. Also, this is an agrarian belt. So the farmers' issue is the core issue out here. We are touring this area, and right now also I'm stationed in one of those districts and talking to you. So this is the belt where the farmer issues will be a core issue, and people were very keenly and very interestingly actually listening to the BJP manifesto, where the farmer issues was reflected as one of the main core issues, and people were discussing that on the stage. So that is one good sign for NDA. As far as the Mahagathbandhan is concerned, you have to remember there are 2 star campaigners, 2 star contestants, I would say, in this particular phase. One is Chirag Paswan, who is seeking re-election from Jamui, and other is Jitan Ram Manjhi, who is a former chief minister, and he will be contesting from Gaya. So what Jitan Ram Manjhi right now has floated and has promised to his voters, that if he is elected as a MP, and if his party or his Mahagathbandhan is re-elected in Bihar, then they would revisit the liquor ban in the state, which has actually become a big issue on the ground. The NDA is hoping that liquor ban would actually work in their favor, and the Mahagathbandhan leaders now increasingly and every day they are kind of putting out statements saying that they would revisit this law, and it is actually to harass innocent people. So I see it as a mix of both, mix of local issues being cropped up, mix of issues like the lack of development, the liquor ban, which are the Bihar specific issues, and at the same time the face of Narendra Modi is being sold out by NDA leaders. And if you actually visit Chirag Paswan, go out on his campaign with him, so most of the time he's talking about Narendra Modi and his re-election actually just reinforcing Narendra Modi's second tenure as the Prime Minister.
In the last Lok Sabha elections, the TDP alliance had won about 48% of the votes, 2% more than Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSR Congress. However, that small margin helped the TDP alliance win 17 seats versus 8 won by the YSR Congress. This time, Chandrababu Naidu's TDP is going solo for the first time in 37 years. Also, it is a five-cornered battle in the state with Pawan Kalyan's Jan Sena party, the Congress and the BJP also being in the fray. Also, let's very quickly give you a snapshot of the neighbouring state of Telangana. 443 candidates are contesting across 17 Lok Sabha seats. According to various surveys, Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's TRS holds the aces in the state. In 2014, the TRS had won 11 Lok Sabha seats in the state. Maria, let me come back to you now because you've just interviewed Jagan Reddy as well. What's your sense as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned? This is a five-cornered battle now, and the X factor of Pawan Kalyan, one doesn't know how it's going to play out. The swing vote perhaps is going to be crucial for the state of Andhra Pradesh because the difference between the TDP and the allies and the YSR Congress was a little over 2%.
That's a right assessment, Shereen. Look, I think Andhra could very well be heading for almost like a sweep election, similar to what we saw play out in the state of Telangana just a few months back. The sense that one does get is that, it's very different from what it was in 2014. There is frenzy in that crowd that is there to witness Jagan Reddy. There is that hope that they are looking at as far as YSRCP chief Jagan Reddy is concerned. It may be a five-cornered contest, but I think what has happened on ground is that they have managed to really convert that frenzy into what could be very, very concrete in terms of vote, perhaps, when we'll see how the voting really happens on 11th. I spoke to Jagan Reddy and I asked him that specific question that, in 2017, perhaps you were at your lowest because of that bypole that you lost. And he said that there is a distinction, and let's make it that very clear distinction between how a bypole is and how a state election or a Lok Sabha election is fought. He seems extremely confident. And if you look at all the surveys that have been done in the last 3 months, the gap between the two parties are increasing. It could be almost like 8 to 10% gap between the TDP and the YSRCP.
Okay, let me bring in Anant on the conversation as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. What will be the factors that could determine the way that Andhra Pradesh votes? As we pointed out, TDP and allies in 2014, 17 seats, 47.7% of the vote share. YSR Congress, 8 seats, 45.4% vote share.
Well, I think, this election, unlike 2014, is also a little unique in the sense, 2014, one of the central issues in Andhra Pradesh as well as in Telangana, let me talk about Andhra Pradesh, is that, Chandrababu, having opposed the creation of Telangana, the bifurcation of the state and all those things, was also contesting against YSRCP, who also opposed. So, there was some kind of an utilization. But after that, in the last 5 years, Chandrababu, one, has walked out of the alliance that he was with the BJP in 2014. And on top of it, the most important thing is the Kapu vote that Pawan Kalyan assured, rather ensured that it came to the TDP, is no longer with the TDP now. It's not that Pawan Kalyan is going to be winning any seats or anything, but the fact is that he gained traction, and particularly in the last 1.5 years that I have actually observed Andhra Pradesh, Pawan Kalyan had gained traction among the 18 to 24 years, that is the first-time voter. Jagan Reddy had, in the last 5 years, very consistently mobilized, retained his own voter base, particularly in the Rayalaseema region. And in fact, the very location of the capital city in Amravati, outside of Rayalaseema, around Vijayawada, was an issue that he actually raised to the hilt in the course of his Padayatras, which has been permanently on. So in some sense, this election was, in a sense, more tilted towards Jagan Reddy resting power, both in Andhra Pradesh. And mind you, there is an assembly election also simultaneous with the Lok Sabha election. So it's not just about... So in some sense, Chandrababu has lost the plot, is what my reading is. If you have noticed, after that initial kind of an activity where Chandrababu visited Delhi with tons and tons of shawls to honor the Congress and the Mahabaghatbandhan leader, the Congress has also cold-shouldered TDP in some sense inside Andhra Pradesh. It went in for an alliance with the TDP in Telangana and hence bit the dust as well. So when I said that, Chandrababu has lost the plot, I'm not ruling out a Jagan Reddy who could probably sort of, he has absolutely no issues going with any one of the two who's close to the striking distance of 272. So it's not going to be, let's not rule out Jagan Reddy, let's say with, 15 odd MPs, also playing a role that Chandrababu probably visualized or anticipated to play in Delhi after 23rd of May.
Fair point. And I'll give Maria the closing comments on that, because in that interview to you, Maria, he did say that he's forgiven the Congress party. He didn't go beyond that, but he did say that he has forgiven the Congress party for the past.
Shereen, that's strategic because it's only increasing his own bargaining power. I'm not too sure whether he will be supporting the Congress. But for him to say that there's no bitterness, that he doesn't hold any grudges against the Congress party, it's for Jagan Reddy to send a message even to the BJP that if you're looking at support from me in a post-poll scenario, then here is what I'm telling the Congress as well.
Prabhakar Kumar, Maria Shakil, Arun Giri, V. Krishna Anand, thanks very much for joining us here on this special election exchange.